I think a lot of businesses need that and understand it because um, AI is just inevitable. It's going to take over every industry. It's going to change every single industry. And there's so many business owners that don't have the time, the bandwidth, the knowledge, or maybe the foresight to know that they need to get that on. Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Ground Up Podcast. My name is Matt Walton, here with my co-host Matt Huber. Matt, how you doing, man?
Doing fantastic. I'm doing fantastic. Before we hit record, Juliana and I were having a fun conversation about how fast these days, weeks, months are going. I was telling her I close my eyes and all of a sudden my daughter's 5 years old. It's just, man, it's happening so quick. But man, having a fun time doing it. How about you today?
I don't know if that happens with children. It just seems like it literally just flies. We talk about how old they are turning now. I mean, Ollie turns 3 in a couple months, and just so that it's too fast. It's awesome to see them grow up, but at the same time, it sucks. Exact same time. But today we got a guest, guys. Juliana Yario. Is that right?
Yoria, that's right,
Yorio.
yeah.
I was close.
Mhm.
I'm
You're
usually
right,
pretty
yes.
good at names. I was pretty close. To Nice to meet you, Juliana. You are a self-taught AI business owner now, aren't you?
That's right, yes. I'm also an AI virtual. Yeah, so I taught myself and the AI voice receptionist system that I currently have here with Prosperous that I launched my own company. So it took a little bit of time to learn that process, but I feel really proud of myself of teaching myself that part.
Yeah, you should.
Um, yeah, and so I've connected with small businesses in terms of that and helped them launch that in terms of the inside of their own businesses. So it's nice.
That's awesome. I think a lot of businesses need that and understand it because AI is just inevitable. It's going to take
Mhm.
over every industry. It's going to change every single industry. And there's so many business owners that don't have the time, the bandwidth, the knowledge, or maybe the foresight to know that they need to get that on. So somebody like you that can come in and help them do that. So tell me about your process. What exactly does your AI do for them to help them grow their business?
Yeah, definitely. So we start with a demo. I start analyzing what else they also need in their business in tandem with the AI voice receptionist. Usually it's an SMS system as well. So I can integrate that. And so I set up the AI voice receptionist. It helps to answer calls 24/7 around the clock. So there's no excuses, no sick days. It is the perfect employee, essentially. And so I also set up the AI voice receptionist. And the SMS part as well. So that can help with lead capture, so database reactivation in terms of that. So if they have old leads and they need help with that, as well as we can connect with their Facebook ads. So if someone opts into that Facebook, it can automatically call into them and have that conversation and book a demo directly to their calendar. So it's super convenient.
Is this something that like a big issue is do your clients worry about the quality of the voice and if it sounds like AI versus not? If it sounds like, are they telling people it's AI right away when they call in and they know it is, or is it kind of hidden between sounding like a receptionist, an actual receptionist?
Right. So it'll sound like a human, but if the person asks, is this an AI, it does say, I am an AI assistant, but I don't automatically prompt it to say that because it does sound so real. And usually most of the time, the person can't really tell.
Okay,
So
gotcha.
when you were building that, did you build the voice quality on 11 Labs? I know there's a variety of different places you can build it. I know you built everything you built on Go High Level, but is 11 Labs integrated in that to be able to
Right.
build it out? How does that work?
Yeah, that's right. So with the inbound, you can go with the Go High Level route or the 11 Labs. So I integrate both depending on if they want more outbound also as well that we can do or inbound.
And are you keeping obviously keeping good track of the laws behind this because it's something we're kind of looking into too to make sure just in case. I mean, I know California has a law where like you have to openly say that it's AI right from the beginning of the call. You can't hide it, and then I think Utah says like if they ask, you have to say that it's AI. And there are a bunch of bills and proposals right now that are looking to come through. That's going to have more regulation on that. You kind of keeping an eye on that.
Yeah, I am. So, obviously I love when they opt in first, so it's a warmer lead as well, so the inbound is perfect for that as well as the Facebook ads if there's that part of it. So yeah, I'm keeping up, but it's constantly changing, right? So it's good to keep mention of that. So I do have like little Google alerts going on for that.
Do you think, and Matt and I've had this discussion, I mean, I had probably one of my first known experiences working with AI over the weekend. called into a new doctor's office this weekend trying to set an appointment for my wife and I, and it was on a Sunday. I didn't expect anybody to answer. I was just going to leave a voicemail, and I was greeted by an AI receptionist, and it was amazing. I mean, it answered all the questions I wanted to do. It was able to, while I was on the line, send me a text message. I was able to book a link right there. It then confirmed it. It then sent me an email. It did everything you would want an employee to do. It did distinguish the fact that it's AI, but if it didn't, I don't know if I would be able to tell clearly.
Exactly.
I wonder if you send it to the average person who is just trying to either get a random call or make a random call, if they'd be able to determine that or identify that. And in most cases, no. I mean, the trick that I told Matt we should do, and I've done this before, was I'll send it to one of my sales buddies if we're doing like a sales bot, and I'll say, hey, how do you think this rep did on this objection?
Nice. Yeah.
And so I make them give the impression it's an employee of mine handling an objection, and I'm asking their opinion on that. And if they don't say anything on the fact that it's AI, then I know it's at least good enough to pass as an employee. How do you kind of make that determination that it's the quality is good enough to be able to at least maybe not offend anybody? And then I'll have a follow-up question behind that with, do you think people care if it's AI yet? Or would they rather it still be a person?
Yeah, and so that deals with the prompting part on the back end. So making sure that all of those frequently asked questions and specific to that business niche and what's, the questions that are most frequently asked from the clients or the person that's calling in. So making sure that that background, that knowledge base is up to date in terms of that. So constantly tweaking that. That's what we provide as well, is that support. And then the second question that you asked was if they care. I think as long as the job gets done, and it's efficient. And really what matters most to the business that they don't lose the revenue. So the main part is the business is really concerned about keeping that caller in and scheduling them in for that appointment. So I think AI does that exceptionally well.
And
Yeah,
I would
imagine,
say,
like, how many receptionists or people you talk to that had an attitude, and you're like, "I don't wanna talk to this person anymore,"
I know, exactly.
And AI voice doesn't have that, and so, I mean,
Mhm.
yeah, it's hard to say whether have you noticed, though, I don't know if you track this data or not, I'm sure you do, about do you have what they did before with an actual human answering and what they did after with AI?
Yeah, so we have like a recording that we have of that voice call. So we do have that. I do look back on what they did prior, but sometimes these are older businesses as well that you have to keep in mind, so they don't have that system set up in place where there's recordings and things of that nature. It was just a receptionist answering on not a landline, let's say, but pretty much close to it. So yeah, but I do keep track of the analytics. There is a transcription, obviously, that's available in terms of the data currently that we provide for them, and they've been pretty happy with it so far.
one of the things that we've toyed with the idea with is obviously as we were building out our voice bot service through 11 Labs, we actually were able to clone our voices and clone some of our employees' voices to offer a more, personalized voice
Yeah.
interaction. Do you offer that to your clients? So, like, let's say you're doing it for a doctor's office and you just want the doctor to be the person answering the phone, which I'm sure no doctor wants to be the person who's answering their own phones, but let's just say that it is. Do you offer that to your customers? Do you say, here's the standard voice I typically offer customers or the standard options you can choose from, but if you then want to personalize and clone a voice in your business for this, then there's an extra cost. Is that kind of how it works?
Yes, that's right. Yeah, so we can clone their voice, but there's so many options, honestly, that they're pretty happy with the options that we have available too. I mean, we can even add accents, and there's different languages too, so capabilities like that. So I haven't had anyone want to clone, but I do offer that additionally as well. Yes.
Okay. So with, I'm curious to know, how are you marketing to get clients in?
Well, it's basically based on a referral basis currently now. I do a lot of cold emailing and cold calling as well into businesses that I feel would fit into particular niche. Obviously, 5 or more employees is more where I focus on in terms of the small business because there is that need for that in terms of that usually. And then we can work with any niche basically because I can fix the prompt to fit their needs in terms of that and customize it for them. We can work with law firms, and I've worked with law firms, HVAC, plumbing, dentists. There is a HIPAA compliancy there, so we can help them with that as well.
So you say cold calling is a big part of your process, cold emailing. Remind me, Julianne, I know we talked about it in our original discussion, but what is your background? Prior to creating this, what did you do before that?
Yeah, totally different background. So I was in sales, so software sales, and then I also was an accountant. So I have a master's degree in accounting, so completely off base there. But I just love the innovation that's happening, and I saw an opportunity there, and I thought, why not? I really want to launch something of my own, and I think people can really grasp the nature of an AI voice receptionist and how much that can help them instantly. It's not something that you have to overly explain about, at least in that process. And then once you gain their trust, you can build onto that with other attributes there, such as SMS, outreach, and things of that nature.
Gotcha. You offer a little bit of everything, right? The voice call, the text message, everything that goes through. And it's awesome to hear that you build off Go High Level. That's what me and Matt use. That's what I use in my business consistently. It's what
Great, yeah.
I think a lot of people use. And so um, we don't have to get into the details on this podcast. I do want to know like exactly how the integration works with you and a doctor's office or a law firm. Is it like they're taking the calls and then you're forwarding over to them on the office? Is that what you do in general?
That's right. Yes, that's right. Yes. So there's that forwarding feature, but they can keep their phone number, the original phone number. A lot of businesses want to keep the original phone number. So the person that calls in, then it forwards to the AI voice receptionist.
Gotcha. Okay. Just understanding how that works out.
Yeah.
So on the sales side, I mean, obviously my background comes from sales. I'm interested in that. I love the fact that as the business owner, as the founder, you're still the person making the cold calls. I assume, Juliana, one of the first thing, even a person like you with sales background wants to do is get off the phones, and find a way to just manage and operate the business. What's your plan around that?
Yeah, and as I expand, I am integrating the AI more into that portion of it as well. I do like when they opt in, so that's personally just for me. That's where I get most of my leads from was when they opt in. But my cold calling really is just the hard work and grit, that I've learned over sales, and kind of integrating that currently now. But I am working on expanding that in the future for sure.
So in the future, what I'm hearing you saying, correct me if I'm wrong, you will, in the future, in your business, to obtain new clients, you will likely use the same voice bot solution that you have your clients using to be a receptionist will ultimately be the tool you use to do outreach to clients to potentially get client meetings.
That's right. Yeah. And I think that's where the future is going. You've heard of these AI SDRs and things of that nature. So, yeah, definitely. For sure. I see that in
Yeah, I
that.
mean, you can say like, "Hey, by the way, that sales rep you talked to was the AI that's winning."
Yeah,
Could you tell?
exactly.
It's like, "I couldn't tell." Then, "Hey, there you go. What are you talking about? Let's
Yeah,
get you signed up right
exactly.
now."
So Matt and
That's
I
true.
are building a version of a sales SDR, but on the real estate market, which is the kind of the industry that we run a subsegment of business in. And obviously, once we kind of get that process out and rolling, we've discussed the idea of taking my 10 to 15 years of building and teaching and training SDRs into a sales bot. I ran into quite a few kind of, at least as speaking to my team, things that might be an issue. And what I envision being the biggest issue of a sales SDR AI bot is the ability to take the receiving information I had in this conversation, upload it into the understanding of that client to then be able to use in the next cold call. So Juliana, what do you do around that? So for instance, I call into X doctor's office. I speak to their actual receptionist. I find out Johnny Smith, Dr. Johnny Smith is the guy I need to speak to around this, but Dr. Johnny Smith is not available. Now, next call I call in, I need to now speak to Dr. Johnny Smith. How do you train the bot to be able to first make the first call to overcome the gatekeeper to get to the decision maker, and then when you gain that knowledge, then have that knowledge downloaded to now the script changes based off the information it's found? That's what I anticipate being the biggest challenge.
Yeah, and that definitely is a challenge going forward. That's why I do prefer the opt-in feature, so it's at least warmer and you have that to connect with. But that is an issue going forward, that kind of we have to overcome.
So when you say opt-in feature, and apologize, you got to maybe explain this to me like an elementary person. How do you obtain an opt-in, and what does the opt-in then give you permission to do?
I'm guessing through some type of marketing or social media or whatever you're doing, yeah, and then
E-
they
Exactly.
agree, they fill out a form or something like that, right? That says like, "Yes,
Right.
I wanted more information about this," and they send a text.
Exactly. Yeah, that's exactly it. So, like, basically, that's around the cold emailing part, the outbound sequencing, and then they can opt in, and then I'm okay with them calling them. or
Okay, so you're
the
sending bulk email out.
that's
You're
right.
getting people that are opening, responding, clicking on that.
Mhm.
They're then opting in that you can then reach out to them as a warm lead. Now the
Yes,
conversation is, hey, you submitted information to find out more, and you're using the
exactly.
bot not to have a cold call, but you're just doing warm lead appointment
Mhm.
setting. Makes sense.
Exactly. Yep, that's
Okay.
right.
Yeah, because I looked at the challenge, and when we started
Mhm.
really digging into the details, I was like, a lot of what my team does, and a lot of what my team has been trained to do is obviously we do cold outreach through email as well, but then that act of cold calling, as you know, Juliana, it seems like you do this a lot. Is there is so much information gathering in cold calling when you're actually cold calling that it's just the gathering of the data to be able to remember that and then adjust the pitch based off of what you've learned to be able to make progress is what I found is like this is probably the biggest obstacle. And I've not talked to anybody who's come out with an SDR bot that could serve as an SDR. I can see exactly a warm lead appointment setting
Mhm.
thing where an opt-in makes sense. Okay. Now let me ask you this. How long have you been running your business?
About a year. So yeah, it started as a side hustle, and then I moved into full time just recently. So I just wanted to focus on it full time and just give it my all, and it's been working well. I'm net positive, so that's always a good thing.
So a lot of times people, and I love the idea of starting as a side hustle and then transitioning into the full. So I'd love to kind of hear your thought process as somebody who was successful in the corporate business world to first start a side hustle. What was your process to say, okay, I need to go full time into this? Like, how did you kind of make that decision?
I mean, there are two sides of it. I also was tired of working for somebody else. And I know I wanted to pivot into that too, so that was a drawing force there as well. But then I also saw the potential, the huge upside potential, and that I could earn more doing this full time than working for somebody else. So that was also a draw, a financial reason as well. I think for myself ultimately.
Yeah, so you kinda made the decision were you already making income with the business before you switched over, or were you like, "I haven't got a deal yet, I'm ready to go?"
That's right. Yeah. So I was making some income already with the side hustle at that point, and then decided to ramp things up going full
Yeah, 'cause
time.
I was working for somebody, I was actually working for Matt at a time at the company that he had hired me for. I was working for that company, and I hated to work for somebody myself as well. So I started the real estate side of things, and the minute I got my first deal, I quit. Like, I got my first check, I was like, "I'm never doing this again, I'm out, I'm gonna go full time into this," and so, I get what you're saying, it was a leap of faith and something I pushed on. Matt thought I was super crazy when I first did it, but, 4 years later, we're still here, which is good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
the
a
Yeah,
first
risk,
time he
right?
told
It's
me about it,
Mhm.
I was like, "Wait, you're doing what?" He's like, "Yeah, I took this online course and they taught me how to do this." And I'm like,
yeah.
"Cool, man. Good luck to you, bro. Like, I mean, let me know if you change your mind and you want an actual job." Like, I mean, and I think at that time it was before he had his first child, or maybe right after he
Right.
had his first child. And I think, and I was telling this to my wife the other day, I think the first time we spoke, Matt, on that process, you were actually like traveling the country in an RV or something like that.
Yeah.
So he was like
Yes.
using the true aspect of the freedom that an entrepreneurship,
Yeah.
provides you.
I told you, yeah, and then what, 2 years later, Matt was like, "How are you doing this?" And I showed him how to do it, yeah. But no,
Absolutely.
taking that leap of faith obviously is really important, especially in entrepreneurship. It's betting on yourself, and, yeah, you hear this all the time about it, and people are like, "Oh, no, I like my job, it's stable, I get my income, my checks coming." I'm like, "But it's not at the same time, because somebody else control your fate." If that
Mhm.
person, for any
True.
reason, decides to do if he does something wrong in the business and has to quit cancel his business or shut down or just fire you for any reason, like, you're out, and, there's no reason for them to give you a warning or anything. So, to me, like, having this control of yeah, it can be scary at times because you have to be the one that produces your income. But the fact is, I think it's scary to have my life in somebody else's hand besides my own.
Exactly, yeah, so it's really taking that leap of faith, and also, just to mention, like, I don't have a family of my own, so that risk was a little bit lower in terms of that for myself. It was really just me, so it was an easy decision in terms of that, but I totally understand if someone doesn't wanna do it because, they have family and obligations and things like that, but yeah, it's definitely a leap of faith for sure.
Yeah. So I wondered if in this and what's your exit strategy? Because I'm always curious about people in the AI business right now with this because the way it seems kind of like the .com era,
Right,
right? Of things that
exactly,
are happening that
yes.
people are trying to get in now and sell early. Is that kind of your thought process here? Like, let me build this up, let me sell it later on, or just run this thing out until it goes.
Yeah, I think right now I'm enjoying the process currently. Later on down the line, yeah, the potential for that. I do have some investors that have mentioned that they do want to invest or take a part in it, even in this early stage. So that's exciting to see. But yeah, currently I just want to have that be in that growth mindset and just keep on at it.
Are you thinking about taking investors for it? Because I
Yeah, I
was
was
curious
gonna
about
ask.
that. We're always curious, like, if you're gonna go bootstrap all the way or you're gonna, give up part of your equity to take investors. Which one?
Yeah, that's a tough decision, and that's something that kind of I'm thinking about currently. There are pros and cons. Have you guys dealt with that before?
We haven't
We've
yet.
not considered it,
Yeah.
Yeah,
to be
we
Yeah.
haven't
honest.
considered it really. Yeah,
It's
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 something
harder
where
to give up control in that way.
it is. You
Well,
hear
I
the
mean,
horror stories about it, right? You
Right.
hear the horror stories about entrepreneurs that built something great, but then gave up so much percentage of their company, they no longer own their company anymore. Now they just work for somebody else, and now their business is just torn apart. And so you hear about that a lot. That scares me. But also right now, I don't feel like we necessarily need to. I'm sure the money sounds exciting. That somebody's
Right.
going to give you a few $1 million to help you grow your something. That sounds awesome, but it's just the cost of that $1 million that comes
Right.
into play for us.
Exactly, yeah.
and
And is
Juliana,
it really your own business after that? Yeah.
I think we've looked at it this way, and this has been a challenge for Matt and I. This is kind of the obstacle that we're going through right now is instead of us looking for cash influx, we're looking for talent influx. And so
Mhm.
instead of us looking to find people who are willing to invest their money into our business or ideas, we're looking more for people who are willing to invest their time and experience into our business. And we're willing to exchange equity and or profit share for talent exchange. I mean, a perfect example is kind of a big project that we're working on right now is my background is shared before is I've got over 20 years of sales experience. I've built sales teams in the corporate landscape for over 10 years, and we've been running this sales consultancy business for over 3 years pretty successfully. Matt has over 4 years now of real estate wholesaling experience, and him and I created a company together to provide virtual assistants for the real estate industry. Where we've found ourselves going is in two primary areas. We've found a lot of value and success in using this podcast for a multitude of reasons to benefit our business, both from a sales perspective, a network relationship perspective, a knowledge gain perspective, and so much more.
And
And it's
everything, yeah,
not even
concept of it.
for the views that we've gained from the podcast. I mean, that is just, the views and the impressions are just an added benefit, but there's so much more value behind that. But what Matt and I don't know, and we don't have an expertise is in marketing. So I went to Matt a couple of weeks ago and was like, I'm going to go learn everything I need to know about marketing. And he's like, hey,
Nice.
idiot, you're a sales guy. Like, don't go learn marketing. Let's just bring a marketing expert in who's already
Right.
done what you're going to try to learn. And by the time you learn what that person knows, you'll already be a year behind what's actually going on in marketing right now. So let's just bring somebody in that can share in that. So that's kind of been our thought process is bringing somebody in who can close a knowledge gap in trading value of our business there instead of an influx in money. Julia, what do you think about that idea in regards to like maybe there's a world where there's a money and knowledge gap added to your business that might be more down your line. But when you were considering taking in investors, what was the main, would it just be just to have the funding to be able to go build what you need to build?
Yeah, basically it would be for the funding part of it, mainly for myself. So that would be my main focus if I did go that route. The knowledge gap, I haven't envisioned it growing so big, the company in terms of that, that I would have to expand in terms of that. But that is a great option as well for me to consider, and I'll definitely think about it. So thank you guys for sharing that. Definitely expanding the features that we offer. I think there's great opportunity there. And in terms of the outreach, just helping me with that as well. I think there's potential in terms of that since I'm doing it by myself and I do have an assistant, but we could definitely expand on that.
Yeah, are you doing a lot of the coding yourself or any of that at all? Did you learn that?
Yeah, there's NN8, so that's like a automation workflow that a lot of people use, and that integrates with 11 Labs as well. So it's like low coding involved in terms of that because I don't have any coding experience in terms of that, but there are templates out there if people are interested, and they can definitely learn on their own. So I suggest that route as well. YouTube
Yeah,
is amazing.
it can be. It can also get you in trouble too if you listen to the wrong people. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. So no, that's interesting to know because I think that we ask about coding all the time, but in general, I think a lot of coding is going to go away for the most part, unless you're actually building the platforms itself. But you can see a lot of stuff is being coded by AI. You just kind of prompt it to tell you what you want to, and it just creates it. So I think that's interesting to know. When you're building this out, was it just literally all you? Did you have any team that came on and did anything else with it?
No, it was really just me. Yeah, because it was a side hustle. I didn't know where it was gonna go or if it was gonna go off in that sense. And I was just trying my hand at it really, and seeing if it could be a fit for myself as well. So it's kind of taking a bet on me because I don't have that coding background. So I thought maybe this is too overwhelming. But with AI, it made it possible for sure.
Well, I tried to learn coding for about 5 minutes.
And then gave up. Yeah,
Yeah. You
exactly.
do all this work that tells you to do, and then you miss a comma, and, everything's just messed up. Yeah, I have nowhere near that much attention to detail to know that if I miss something. Yeah, not doing that.
So, I mean, right now, the primary focus is just customer acquisition. I assume that's kind of the biggest focus right now. And
Yeah,
the
definitely.
primary
Just
way we're
growth
doing it
mode.
is through the email marketing, opt-in campaign, getting conversations in front of you, trying to pitch and close those customers. But then you're having to service them as well, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so I do have an assistant that's helping with that part, and I'm adding on another one, on onboarding one, so that'll help with the queue system in terms of that. But yeah, that's the main outreach method that I'm utilizing now.
Awesome. And I know you and I've talked a little bit about you imploring a little bit more content. Like I said, one of the big things that Matt and I are focusing on greatly right now is the addition of content
Mhm.
into our business. And it's really helped us across the board. What's your social media strategy, content strategy that you are doing today versus what maybe you intend to potentially do in the coming months?
Yeah, so I've automated all the social media posts in terms of that. So there are those AI generated posts, and they're posting every day on the regular. I do have like a little blog post on my website as well. And then also there's the PR, so the CEO Times feature and things like that. So that broadens the outreach in terms of my effort. And also in terms of the automation side of it, so I've automated the social media posts, but I'm also thinking of doing a podcast, and I mentioned that to you, Matt. So I think that'll be launching in early December. And so I'll be connecting with folks. I also act on the side, so I'll be connecting with folks both in the creative field and in the tech field and sales and seeing where AI is fitting into that and having those conversations and see where we can go. But yeah, I totally agree with you. Having that content is king and putting yourself out in front isn't easy, right? It's kind of a little bit vulnerable. You have to put yourself out there, but it's
Yes.
essential in today's market, I feel like.
I'm interested to know about that, how you feel about it as you said you act also,
Mhm.
how a lot of actors are really mad about AI right now. Um, so, I mean, do you feel the same way about doing video, like, taking an actor and, would you be mad if somebody used your face on something? I'm sure you would. Do you
Yeah,
ever
if they had no permission, they had already paid for it, then and sometimes they do that, and really, I don't know if there's a way around it because it's like, for example, with Suro that was launched, I think
Yeah.
Suro.
I've seen
I
a ton
mean,
of
I
videos.
don't know if there's a way around it really at this point, it's already out there.
Yeah.
And people are creating short films and commercials already, and I already see ad visuals, let's say, that are being created with AI. So that's already cutting down on the creative team on the back end. So it's already out there. It's not something that you can fight at this point, unfortunately.
You just have to sue everybody, I feel like, and that would be
Mhm.
so hard to do. I mean, yeah, I just imagine where it's at. Yeah, Sora is just everywhere right now. I see
Right.
the videos constantly, and it's awesome to see that. I guess how fast you can create the video like that. That would normally take someone like
Yeah.
hours and hours and hours and so much training and stuff to be able
It'd be
to animate that.
impossible for the regular person, I think, to do that. Now it's accessible to everyone.
Right,
I mean, our
and you
team
do.
just this past week created an ad with a couple of different prompts. I don't know what platform, it wasn't Sora, but it was similar to that. And they created a full 40-second ad with
Okay.
all of these animations with just, a couple of prompts. And it was as an impressive an ad as you would see. And it just only took like a couple of seconds.
It's
Yeah,
amazing.
it's impressive. It's intimidating.
It is.
For somebody like me who spent, the past 20 years establishing a foundational career around a certain thing, I think that it's only a matter of time before people like me won't really, at least with the experience I have, won't really be needed in that aspect. I think that I'm lucky in the fact that I'm useful, I'm agile, I'm able to kind of move
Pivot.
around in that regards. But for some people who are less able to do that, it's very interesting to see what's going to happen in the next 3 to 5 years. I think to Matt's question he had for you earlier, I think that attack the market as long as you can while you can, and get as much from this as you can, learn as much as you can, and hopefully you're a part of one of the few things that stick in the space, because I think ultimately we're just going to have a bunch of 10 to 15 people or companies making all the money, having all the products, and providing all of everything across the board for us. And then, what do we do with the rest of our lives then? I don't know.
That's right. Yeah, it's a scary
Yeah.
thought.
It is. I still think there's a lot of opportunity, and the reason why is because every single market needs to use AI in some way, shape, or form. So every single business, every single industry, anything is going to have to use AI in some way, shape, or form. So, like you said, Matt, I think there's going to be a lot of big companies that can do a lot, but there are going to be a lot of companies that can service certain industries. And if you can find your niche within the industry, you might be a big player in that industry itself. So, yeah, you might not be the huge company, necessarily that takes care of a lot of different things, but you can really find yourself a niche on industries that people haven't really dove into yet and be that expert in it that grows that business into it. So I think that gives a lot of people a little less barrier to entry of, having to spend a ton of time learning code, and now it can code it for itself. If you want to be a marketing person that creates videos, you can literally just learn how to prompt Sora very well, and you can build that out. It's so many, it takes so much less time to do things now. It's just a matter of where you put your knowledge and your time into what you wanna learn and how fast you can learn it, and so I think that it's scary, but I think the people that are just let fear hold them back from it are the main ones that are gonna be screwed. So
Yeah,
that's
definitely.
just
And
my
I think we're gonna see, like, an increase in terms of freelance work, as well. There's the gig economy there that's already there, but I'm sure that'll be increasing as well.
Yeah, and I would also, we always have to realize this. I mean, obviously, anybody can go down a doom-based mentality here, and it sounds like
Mhm.
probably that's what it sounds like I have around this. I'm not. We're going to innovation is going to create innovation around opportunity as well. So all of this AI is going to create a bunch of opportunity around AI. It's going to create opportunity for us. There's going to be industry that we never knew of. I mean, we just look back to, like, and I don't want to age myself too much, but I mean, when I graduated high school, we didn't have cell phones. Like, and now everybody has a cell
that
phone
one
that
that's
is
like
their
this.
lifeblood, right? Um, when I was in high school, the internet was, it took you 7 minutes to download a picture on the internet. You know what I mean? Now you can download a picture in 1 second. You could download a video in 1 second, right? I've got unlimited internet that I can stream unlimited video from my phone at any point in time, anywhere in the world. All of this wasn't the internet based economy that we have now wasn't around just 20, 30 years ago. And now it's everything. So all of the innovation always creates new innovation. It creates new opportunity. And it's just about, are you going to be willing to adapt to that innovation? Are you going to be willing to understand it and apply there? Hopefully it comes quickly, because I'm getting too old to adapt at this point. So I need to kind of like just
How
run
many
my course.
pivots are you gonna have in life, right? You ask
Yeah.
yourself.
Yeah.
So going back to, like, how many people or brick and mortar business owners that took forever to get a website, and it took forever to actually put their social media accounts up or do anything with social media, or fought it, because I used to sell marketing to business owners all the time, and they fought it so hard. The older people, like, I don't need a website. People come in my door, they know who we are. I'm so known. I'm like, okay, sure, but eventually people move out of the area and other people move in, and they don't know you. So how are you gonna get a hold of them? And, people my age we're gonna go right to Google. Back in the day, we're gonna go Google and find out, restaurants near me or something like that, and that if you're not on those areas, you're not getting seen. And so it's gonna be a case where AI is where if you're not using AI, you're going to get left behind. It's just, I'm tired of talking to your angry receptionist. I want to talk to somebody who would just handle and get my questions done, get my
And not
appointment
give me an
scheduled.
attitude.
Exactly. I don't care if you had a bad day or not. Like, I want to get my, I want to get my coffee without getting yelled at, stuff like that. So
Right, that, yeah, so we're definitely gonna see, like, an implementation of AI everywhere, and I think we may just it'll just be a part of everyday life, so it won't just we're calling AI, and that's a hot word, and then it'll just be like the internet, we're just using it.
yeah.
Mhm.
Have you thought about, because pivots obviously are a big thing right now. Have you thought about, like, where, I know you probably don't know yet because we started the virtual assistant company. You find out really quickly AI is gonna just be done with that. It's just the way it is. So we pivoted quickly into AI and knew what we could do with it. Started moving towards that. Um, with what you're doing right now, I'm not saying you're gonna have to. Hopefully, just you have this one thing and it grows to amazing. It grows really big. But the way the world is and entrepreneurship is. Have you thought about, like, different avenues this will go down as you grow it, or have you thought about this at all? Or are you just like, I'm gonna stick with what I have and hopefully it works out until it doesn't?
Yeah, I definitely could branch off more into the e-commerce space. There is that part in terms of the SMS and the outreach that's being done that hasn't been fully developed, I feel like. So maybe that is something that I could look into a little bit more. Also, the real estate side that you mentioned, wholesaling and things like that. I feel like AI can be really integrated into that in terms of the research and the properties and things of that nature. They already have kind of those tools out there. But yeah, I think it's essential just to pivot and see. And then that's something that I'll analyze further down the road. But currently now I'm just really focused on growth mode and just seeing where Prosperous can go in terms of the voice, AI, and the SMS side, and increasing revenue for small businesses, really.
Yeah, well, if you ever go into the real estate side, you let me know because
Yeah,
I can
definitely I
help you out as
would.
much as I need to. That was what we do. And so yeah, AI voice will be the first thing we come with. Text messages that do that. I mean, then you have comping tools that are okay right now. I've used a few of them that use AI. They're okay. You have my other partner on other podcasts that we do called the Deal Room, where we talk about real estate all the time. She has a CRM that's built out where the AI text will negotiate the deal for you, and basically all you do is pick up and just get the contract closed.
Nice.
She told
Love
me the
that.
other day that she started in a new market as a little challenge on her TikTok, and she had 11 contracts in a couple weeks, which
That's
is
amazing.
an insane amount of contracts, and it's all
Yeah.
done by the AI. So yeah, it's going to change very fast. And real estate people and wholesalers, I feel like they're very open to those things.
Yes. Right.
Very good.
Exactly. That's true.
What?
Yeah. They want the money now.
Yeah, they're also like, I don't want to talk to any more of these sellers. I'm
Yeah.
tired of getting, I'm tired of getting cussed out
Yeah.
by sellers constantly. So they were like,
There's a lot of wasted time. Yeah. That's
yeah,
true.
whatever I can
And
do to
it's
get out of
funny
that.
that is the perspective there, and the industry and the world that I come from, which is more of the automotive space, Juliana, is there's the opposite approach. Is they're very, very resistant to change. They're very old school when new technology comes out. They resist that. Where have you found, in your experience so far, as you kind of navigate the markets, where have you found is like the industries that are the best to attack with technology, where there's the least amount of resistance in general, versus where have you thought was going to be a little bit more open to it, but when you went to it, the general feeling is resistant?
Yeah, so I think the greater the need and the overwhelm, the more open they are in terms of that. Sometimes that'll be into the segment of 40s. If you're going a little bit older, then maybe they're not as open, because they're maybe a little bit more stuck in their ways. But once they do a demo and they hear the sound of it, then they become more open to it. And then we do a trial period run as well. We can do that for them so that they ease their way into it. And so in terms of the niches, HVAC, plumbing, they're open to it because they get so much call volume in terms of that. They need the help. And they desperately want to increase their revenue too. Because if someone doesn't answer, then they'll just call the next company down the line. So they're really open in terms of that. Law firms are just not as open sometimes with that. I noticed. So
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
kind
they're
of a.
probably a little more hard headed.
Mhm.
Well, I think the transition could be kind of easy though, because you call these companies. Like I just we called. I called because I had to get my oil changed and a state inspection down the street. And you call it, and it's like press one if you want this, and press two if you
Right.
do that. And I'm like, I think this rings to the same phone every single time, anyways. Like I don't
Right.
think that it makes any difference necessarily. And so, like, imagine you have that already. It's already an automated call that answers. Why wouldn't you want one that does a little more that helps out even more than what yours does now?
And sounds human like in that
And
way. Yeah.
yeah, it actually can
Mhm.
have a conversation and actually get your clients into the door. I don't think it should be hard. Who knows? I guess who you're talking to. I guess right.
Right. Yeah.
Juliana, after this podcast, what I'm going to do is I'm going to connect you with one of my clients. I've got a client that I've been working with for about 2.5 years. They actually run a website and SEO company in that exact space you said your biggest gap is. They have probably about 100 to 150 clients they currently manage websites and SEO for. If you're saying that's an area that your service kind of can cover, I'd love to make the connection for you. And if you can help
Thank you.
them help their clients as an add-on
Yeah.
ancillary product, do you white label by any chance?
I can do that. I mean, I'm open to that. I haven't done that yet. But yeah, I could definitely help with that.
Cool. And I don't even know if they would care to white label. Maybe just having
Right,
that
right.
offer there and having you
Yeah,
be able to put in front of their customers could help. So I'll make that
yeah.
connection and see, do with it as you choose.
Right.
So we're
Thank
running
you.
out of time here. Just wanted to kind of wrap up with you. And what else do you want to get out to our audience?
Well, I think it's really important just to integrate AI, be more open to it. This is the way of the world now currently. So embrace it. Don't be afraid of it. Don't be in fear of it. Um, and just tackle it and pivot as you will so that you're successful within that realm and that you can move on and create revenue for yourself as well.
Awesome. Thank you so much. How do people get a hold of you if they want to learn more about Prosperous?
Yeah, definitely. So connect with me on LinkedIn, Juliana Yorio, and then also on my website, www.prosperous, so prosperussllc.com.
Perfect. All right, thank you. We'll link all your stuff in the description and everything whenever you put the podcast out. But if you
Okay.
guys got anything from this, like we did, please like, share, subscribe, comment, hit the bell icon. We drop these episodes every Friday at 9 o'clock, and let us know what you guys feel about the episode. Let us know what you feel about AI in general and how you're using it in your business. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.